been a rough day. A rough day. Let me tilt my camera up a little bit. I don't got no shorts on. So a little better. Oh man. Oh man. Alright, let me create a poll. Este aeropuerto es el único en el que he estado sin un cinnamon. Que las personas deben seguir su camino. Eso. Yo espero que sigas tu camino. No, lo sé, Tony solo lo dijo y ya. ¿No hubo esa conversación de soy solo para ti? Sí. Bueno, ¿qué te parece esta falda entallada acentúa más con esto? ¡Wow! Mira qué escote más lindo. Es atrevido. Entonces, mejor este. Debo usar faja con ese pantalón y si quiero hacer pis. Creo que un reto de Project Runway sería mejor. Okay. Should be good now. Should be good now. Besides the blurry camera. Why is it blurry? I don't know. Alright, it's a little better. A little better. Okay. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to begin the live. Had a lot of stuff to handle. Somebody chose the option okay on the poll, but they haven't told me a word that they've learned. That doesn't make sense. Ugh. Oh, Evan, he just commented. To shine brightly. Can't say I've ever heard that word before. Give it to me in a sentence, please. Don't think I've ever heard that word. Interesting. And how do you pronounce that? Is that refulgent? Refulgent. That's, I've never heard anything like that before. Interesting. I imagine I would have understood it in context, but I've literally never seen that word before. And where did you learn it at? I feel like it's a very like literature word. I feel like if you said that in real life, there's no chance that anybody would have heard it before. Unless it's somebody else that reads the same books. That's the only kind of like, that's the only bad part about like, very like
high level vocabulary. It's like if you're not in an academic setting, will people really understand you when you say it? I think I saw it in a book. I tend to put it in my writing, but yeah, it'd be hard to use. Yeah, it would be difficult to use that naturally in a conversation. But, you know, like I said, in context, I think people would get it. But also, like, when are you talking about something shining brightly in a regular conversation? It doesn't happen that often, so. Man, this AC is not ACing. Restart it. So, what's been up though, man? How's your life?
The bald guy in the black suit and the gator mask? It's Johnny New, the head general of Oren's personal army, the Crazy 88. And just in case you're half-breed Japanese, Chinese, American, become the boss of all bosses, Tokyo, Japan. I'll tell you, the subject of Oren's blood and nationality came up before the council only once. The night Oren assumed power over the Crime Council. The man who seems bound and determined to break the mood is Boss Tanaka. And what Boss Tanaka thinks is...
I'm watching Kill Bill, one of the greatest movies of all time. Let's see, what was the other vote? There was another vote for okay. If you vote okay, you have to leave a word in the chat. You have to tell us. It's the rules. Yeah, this scene where she runs across the table and just beheads the dude. Hilarious. Just like showing her little feet running like a Chucky doll or something.
As your leader, I encourage you from time to time, no reason to see
I love this movie.
Got anything else to say? Now's the fucking time! I didn't think so.
Who is the other person that voted? I want to know the words you learned. Well, okay, mystery person. Keep your word. Keep your secret word to yourself. We'll never know it. But Evan, did you leave? Because you didn't answer my question. It's one of those movies you don't realize how good it was until you let some time pass and you go back and watch it, man. You're like, yo, one of the best movies ever created, for sure. Orlando, what's up, bro? Minister. It's a word I've only read and only heard spoken by people who are well read. I'm not well read. I've never heard that word before. I've never even seen it. I don't think. What does it mean? Oh, what? I thought that shit was English, bro. Use it in a sentence if you really know it. Hold on a second. Significa que algo es necesario. A necessity. Yes. I can't say I'm super familiar with it, but I've seen it before. Honestly, when I first saw it, I was just like, I literally thought it was an English word. Moises, what's up? Mike Olson, you Muslim? You dye your beard red because Muhammad had red hair? No, I just like my beard this color, to be honest. I don't know that he had red hair. Sobre todo. Did you come up with that sentence? Because you put it in quotation marks. If you didn't come up with it, then that's a fake sentence. I said use it in a sentence, not give you somebody else's sentence. But it's good. It's all good. It's all good. That's a good word though. Definitely not a common word. He did according to Muslims I grew up around. Yeah, no, I definitely know like I know a lot of Somali dudes who dye their beards red for that reason too. Um, but I don't know that that's I'm not saying it's not true, but I don't know that that's true. There's a lot of stuff that's like hadith that's considered like, oh well, this person said that they saw the Prophet Muhammad do this, and it's like, but is it in the Quran though, bro? If it's not in the Quran, I'm like, But either way, no, that's not why I dyed my beard red. I copy and pasted the sentence, but I added the quotation marks myself. I deserve some credit. This is a good sentence. Ugh. Man, I went out for the first time yesterday. That was a rough one, man. Right on. Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up Muslim, but I would be lying if I told you that I still practice, because I don't. I like that sentence better. Good job. Good job, Orlando. Orlando, you ever seen Kill Bill before? I used to think though if you had a spell. I mean, that's not that crazy though. It wouldn't be crazy if it was a silent H. I feel like those kind of mistakes are minor. You know, in English, I really don't understand how people mess up there, and there so much, bro. I get, alright, there and there, I get. But they are there, that contraction, I don't even understand how you would replace that with something else because do you not know what there stands for?
はい。連絡先を教えていただければこちらから連絡します。
I've never watched the show Kill Bill. It's not a show, bro. It's a movie. You, why are you afraid to watch it, bro? I'm afraid I'll binge watch it until my eyes bleed. Bro, it's a movie. Unless there's a show that I don't know about, it's a movie. Same with Breaking Bad. They say, and I mean, I stopped watching Breaking Bad. I never finished it. I thought it was a series. Nah, it's a movie. There's two. She just cut this girl's arm off, and the blood's spraying everywhere. I also really like Kill Bill by SZA. I don't know this song. Never heard it. Well, I can't say I never heard it, but I don't know it. Anytime there's group fights in a movie, I'm always just like, bro, why are the other two people just standing there while you fight one other person? If I was 6 against 1, I'll just wait until you're fighting the other person and stab you in the back of the head. Like, or they're like always magically hurt for just enough time for the other person to fight 1-on-1. Like, I think it's John Wick 3 where he's fighting like these two Asian dudes, and like he'll punch one of them and the dude would just be on the ground like, ah, and Then he's fighting the other dude, and as soon as he knocks down, this dude gets back up and he's ready to fight. And it's like very, very convenient.
So, Ren, any more subordinates for me to kill? Bongo dane. Bingo. そっちはブラックマン。
Black Mamba.
噂が一人歩きしてるみたいだね。そうだな。I know you feel you must protect your mistress. But I beg you, walk away.
The girl Gogo with the ball and chain, one of the dopest characters in any movie. How are there 12 votes and not even 3 people left to word? Okay, well, someone said I haven't heard anything, so that's good. Damn, she's hella cold with the ball and chain. Oof. She died in the worst way. She died in the worst way, bro. Honestly, I really like kind of dumb action movies. I wouldn't say Kill Bill's a dumb action movie, but even shit like The Equalizer, like, I love that shit. Even, I'm like, this is so unrealistic, but I still love it, though.
Is that what I think it is? You didn't think it was gonna be that easy, did you? Yeah. For a second there. Yeah. I kinda did. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids.
Y'all up to, man? What y'all up to on this Sunday night? Yeah, I said The Equalizer. I love that movie. It's a good one. That's a good one. I don't like John Wick as much as everybody else does. Something about it is just like too goofy. The first one was good. But it's just so goofy that it's like it's almost a parody of action movies. I don't know who came up with the idea for Kill Bill, but one of the greatest minds of all time. I mean, the cinematography is just amazing. Could watch this 100 times. Ooh. Axa, can you bring me that water, please? When you get a chance, a break, and if there's any Alka Seltzer left. I was thinking the same thing about it being too unrealistic. For instance, the scene where he takes out all those Russians in the lounge. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like kind of dumb action. Even in this Kill Bill, like she's literally fighting like 100 people right now, and she's winning. It's cool. I guess it's just I don't know. There's little details that just make it just too much, especially when you're dealing with guns, right? At least in this, all the fights are with swords, knives. If there are any guns, it's like it's not major. But in John Wick, like they're literally trying to shoot him, and he's just dodging bullets and just too much for me. I love John Wick. I love the soundtrack they picked, like Wind Turbine Tone. I don't even know that song, so I don't know what you're talking about. And the other thing too is like again, I'm being nitpicky because shit's not really supposed to be realistic, but it's like, bro, these motherfuckers have unlimited energy and adrenaline. Like, she's fighting like 200 people right now, and she's just not getting tired. Like, at some point, you just be like, my arm hurts from chopping so many people's heads off. Will you buy me a PC if I roll a dice and it lands on the number 1? No, I won't. But you can pretend that I would and roll the dice and tell me what it says. And then we'll know that in some universe, I bought you a PC. Not in this one. It was three. See? Wasn't meant to be, man. Wasn't meant to be. Yeah, unlimited ammo too, exactly, bro. But like I said, at least in this movie, it's all sword fighting and hand-to-hand combat for the most part. So that's not really an issue. Fake as shit. But like I said, I like it. I like it. It's a good amount of fake. Because, I mean, in martial arts, you gotta have some fakeness or else it's just gonna be horrible scenes. Real martial arts aren't that cool. Also, these kind of movies always make me wonder, like, what sword fighting actually looked like back in the days when that's literally all people did. Or this lady that got her arm chopped off. She's still alive. It's been like an hour, bro. She would have lost so much blood. She'll be dead. Your haircut's on 1,000. Appreciate you. There's real sword fights today, not just fencing. I mean, to death. You know, out here in Colombia, especially like in the capital, they do knife fights a lot. Like, I mean, not on purpose. It's just two dudes that have knives that are trying to stab each other. But I'm talking about like broadswords. I just wonder how difficult it was to avoid getting cut, basically. So when you're dealing with a real sword, bro, like little touch, you could lose your wrist. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for the new Planet of the Apes to come out. I think it comes out this week or next week. I'm not 100% sure. No, not to death. Have you seen Jousting? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, bro. I'm talking about real deal sword fighting, bro. I wonder what that was like. I mean, I've read a lot about like samurai and stuff like that. It's a weird ass culture, man. Like the honor suicides and shit, bro. I'm like, damn, bro, that's the best way to kill yourself. Fucking putting a sword up in here and doing this shit until your intestines fall out, bro. Like, I think I'd rather die dishonorably. See, they're running a action marathon right now. They just showed John Wick, The Equalizer, Kill Bill back to back to back. I don't really think Kill Bill should be in the same category. That's just my opinion, though. Thanks. Appreciate it. Hmm?
Oh,
Damn.
why didn't you drink it?
I did. That was just like the leftover part. Why did you pick it up?
Because I was going to throw it away, dog. Who leaves trash out?
It's not trash.
It's literally trash. Were you going to drink it?
Yeah.
You lie.
I
You
did.
were not
As
gonna-
it keeps melting, I keep drinking it more.
Yeah, right.
You're crazy. Absolutely insane.
I have to clean up another one of your messes.
It's not my mess.
It's definitely your mess.
It's not.
It is. I could have been doing my homework.
I blame Jim. Dudes be getting fucked up, Justin. Of course. I feel like with bull riding, that's one of those sports that got started with hold my beer. Maybe. I've done some bull riding in the past. Tell me if you need me to lift this up. Orgulloso is a new word that I learned. That's dope. When'd you learn it? How'd you learn it? Estoy muy orgulloso de ti. Probably better with the towel.
I just put those towels. I'm not doing
The one from the bathroom?
Yes.
Mm. Damn. Shit fucking me up. I always seen that word. I heard orgulloso was used in context in a YouTube video. It's dope, man. It's the best way to learn. In context. Mike, what's up? Bendecido por el barbero. Gracias, bro. Hmm? Hmm? Doesn't make sense to me without having to look up the word. Yeah, that's the good part about learning in context. That's why it's good to read and listen to native speakers talk, because you'll just absorb it, you'll acquire it. It's okay to look up words too, but to me, I think if you look it up, you should look it up in Spanish too. What I like to do, especially if it's what's the word I'm looking for? Especially if it's like an object, instead of like looking for a translation or looking up the definition, I just put in images on Google. That way you kind of just get a picture in your head when you think of the word. The subjunctive is crazy hard. I won't say that it's not, but a lot of times it's the way that you're approaching it that's hard. The thing is, in English, if you say something, it's kind of neutral. It's not a fact or a lie or whatever. But in Spanish, like if you say something and it's not in and it's not in a subjunctive, it's like it is that. It's that thing is happening, right? Um, so I'll tell you, like for me, I think the very first time the subjunctive ever like really clicked for me was that my boy, my friend, he used to always say like espero que estés bien, and I'd be like, why the fuck does he keep putting estés right there, right? But when everything finally clicked for me, I'm like, that makes sense because like if you say estás right there, you're saying that I am good, but he's hoping that I'm good. It's not a fact. It's something that he wishes. Um, that's pretty much anything. It's like I want you to do this. Well, if you say haces instead of hagas, you're saying that the person is doing but they're not. So you have to change into the subjunctive. So for me, um, people would always tell me like, oh, I don't know, like they'll say if they try to make these rules, but to me you shouldn't really think of it in rules like, oh, is this an emotion? Is this? Like a lot of times you'll just get it through time and experience. There's a bunch of words and phrases that trigger the subjunctive, and so you wouldn't have to really think about it. You don't have to say like, oh, am I? And it's just like no. If I'm saying this phrase, the subjunctive is coming after it. You say it's spelled okay, you already know the next thing is gonna be subjunctive. For that, the subjunctive just takes time. Yeah, it definitely does. I also think it wouldn't have to take so much time if people would teach it earlier. But they say that it's difficult, and they're like, "Oh, don't waste your time learning that. Just blah blah blah." But like, a little kid will know how to use the subjunctive because, like I said, they're just repeating what other people say. They're like, "Oh, if I say spell okay, blah blah blah," the next thing is gonna be a different way to say it. Sometimes they don't even know that shit's called a subjunctive. Subjunctive exists in Swahili as well. It's interesting. I mean, it exists in English too. It's just the way we use it. Um, like I said, you wouldn't even say that you were using the subjunctive. Most people don't know what that is. But if I say, well, if I were you, or if I was you, either way, that's the subjunctive. I've been seeing how learning a new language has helped me in ways that I would have never imagined. In what ways? Do tell, my friend. Que Dios te bendiga. They put extras on it. Just change the letter based on the triggers. You learn the triggers with time. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, bro. I mean, there's still some times where I'm like, should I be saying this in a subjunctive? But for the most part, that's like, I don't even know, some random, super random sentence. But most common sentences, like you said, like, you just get used to the triggers. You heard the Kendrick diss? I don't keep up with this one. Had me crip walking. Yeah, that one he dropped last night, Not Like Us. That shit went hard. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know he could make music like that. You been making this slam poetry shit this whole time, bro, and you could have been putting out bangers like this. Cause I don't listen to Kendrick's music, but that shit was hard, bro. The way some Mexicans overuse the subjunctive confuses me sometimes. Give me an example. Learning a new language has helped me see other people's condition and experiences. That's dope. That's good.
And every time you don't give me answers, I'm gonna cut something off. And I promise you, they will be things you will miss. I want all the information on a disappearance.
We had to guess.
What they've been
You
doing
should live too alive.
and where I can find them.
What would be your guess?
Guessing won't be necessary.
Song example. Que te vaya bien, que te vaya mal.
She said I could
Si lo necesitas, si lo necesites. There are better examples. That's just the first to come to mind. Or the first one that came to mind. I get you. I feel like that's just a part of being a native speaker. I feel like you can say so much stuff wrong when you're a native speaker and nobody cares. I swear that I'm learning more about life from different perspectives. That's good, man. That's good, man. You'll keep learning. You'll learn even more. The better your Spanish gets, the more you'll be exposed to. Yeah, you'll just be able to have some interesting conversations. You'll be able to read and hear different news from different places and stuff. Like, I mean, it's not like these things don't exist. That can't be translated or something, but sometimes I'll like listen to the president of Argentina talk or something like that, and or even like boxers, I listen to them talk, and someone will do a translation, and I'm like, that's not wrong. It doesn't really carry the feeling over. It doesn't really. It's just different. It's just different. Just understanding it for yourself. So I've never heard "Pues si lo necesitas." Me either, but I also wouldn't be surprised by it.
We deserve to die.
She will suffer to her last breath. How did you find me?
Yes, exactly.
One more thing, Sophie. Is she aware daughter is still alive?
I'm not saying I like Javier Milei, but I do love how he speaks Spanish. Yeah, he's interesting. He's interesting to listen to. I see the Donald Trump comparisons. He's entertaining. I can sit and listen to him talk about politics. So I'm not saying that I like him either. But I totally get what you're saying. Last night when I went to Will's graduation party, I'm uploading a video right now. It might, I don't know if this live will stop it from uploading or if it'll just upload while I'm on the live. But I think I put some clips in there. I was having the most random and drunk conversations in the world, bro. And we were talking about like, I don't know, all kinds of random stuff. Like we were talking about like not necessarily politics, but like local politics, about like what local politicians do with the money and stuff, and differences between, you know, Colombia and the United States. And man, I was telling them that like you could write to your senators or your local politicians, and like whatever you're complaining about will get fixed because that's how they keep their positions. And so I was just like, yeah, like if there's a pothole, you know, there's websites where you can say, hey, on this street, it's a big ass pothole. This shit needs to get fixed. Might take a couple weeks, but they'll come do it. It's just that people don't actually file the complaint. And they were just like, oh no, that's just not happening here. They like, better get these politicians millions and they'll just say it's not enough money to do that kind of stuff. I'm like, dang. The amount of people that I randomly meet that speak Spanish also have a different perspective of me too. What do you mean by that? Elaborate if you don't mind. Also, I was showing everybody at the party, because obviously, like, I'm in a brace and shit. And they know, I mean, they know what happened. And we'll be like, show them the video. And they'll be like, no, I don't want to see that. But then, like, if I wouldn't pull out my phone, they'll say, no, I don't want to see it. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, where's the video? I'm like, what? And then I'll show them. And they'll be like, oh, no, I can't watch it. Like, when it actually happens, after they see it, they're like, oh, I can't watch that. And then they'll call someone else over. They'll be like, hey, come watch this. And they're like, what am I going to see? Same thing. I'll tell them, and they'll be like, no, I don't want to see that. And I'll start putting my phone away, and they'll be like, where's the video? I'm like, what the fuck? Malay has a far better grasp of Spanish than Trump has of English. Malay also speaks English. He just doesn't do it much. He's probably a bit insecure about his pronunciation. I doubt he's insecure. Most politicians in the world speak 2 languages minimum. Even Putin, Vladimir Putin speaks English. It's a very uniquely American thing to be well educated and not speak more than one language. Like in most countries, if you are super educated, you speak 2 languages. It's just what it is. Even here, there's not a lot of English, but people that have good jobs like doctors, nurses, and shit like that, they can speak some English. They see I'm open to understanding their thoughts and culture. Okay, I got you. How long have you been learning? Biggest problem I have is remembering words. I forget new words very fast. It's very frustrating because there's so many words to learn. Here's the thing. Let me try to break this down. Let's say you learn 10 words. I'm just gonna use 10. If you learn 10 words today, tomorrow, you're only gonna remember 3 to 5 of those words. Why? I don't know. That's just how your brain works. It's literally like 50% of the information that you learn the next day has faded. So what you do is you double down and you make sure that you actively use that word again. And if you keep doing that, oh, my video must have just uploaded because I got a notification. But if you keep doing that, then over the course of time, all 10 of those words will stay in your head. But yeah, I mean, that's not just Spanish, bro. That's English too. If you learn 10 new words today, you're not gonna remember all of them tomorrow. You might be able to remember a lot of them if you see them, but actively recalling it yourself is totally different. And so that's why I always tell people, the flashcards and all of that shit, it's not a great idea to me because you need to actually use it. Like when you need to think of a word in a conversation, there's no flashcard. Like you're just thinking and the word has to pop up. In order for you to get better at actively recalling that word, you have to actively recall it. So it's like a multiple choice test versus a fill in the blank. Multiple choice is a lot easier. That's also the reason you can understand somebody else talking, and you might not be able to say all the stuff that they can, because it's different seeing it and understanding, or hearing it and understanding, than thinking of it yourself. So don't get too frustrated about it. Just every time you learn a new word, for example, you told me you learned the word orgulloso, right? You need to use that shit today, tomorrow. Use it in a sentence for a week straight. You'll never forget it after that. Sometimes you can kind of get lucky because if something is like very unique sounding to you, or it's tied to something emotionally, then you might not have to do so much to remember the word. Like there's just certain words that I learned in English and Spanish that I don't use often, never studied them, but they were such strange words to me that they just stay in my mind. I'm like, what a weird word. English speakers don't bother themselves with other languages because English is so dominant. Well, yeah, no, that's why I said it's not an American thing. It's a problem that plagues the entire Anglosphere. Well, like where else? For instance, the French didn't bother themselves with other languages when French was the dominant language of culture. Yeah, that doesn't really change what I said though. I don't have much time to put into learning Spanish because I'm so busy. I practice 30 minutes 3 days a week. I've been studying or practicing for 2 years. I still can't speak Spanish well. Well, yeah, I mean, you can only do what you can do. Um, but so when people say they've been uh, learning for X amount of time, it almost doesn't mean anything because like your 2 years versus someone else's 2 years, if they're doing like 5 hours a day of like real conversations every single day for 2 years, they're gonna be like way further along than you. So some people are like, man, how did this guy learn so much in a year? Or how do you know this much at 4 years? I've been learning this for 8 years and I still can't talk like that. It's like, but the content in those years are not the same. So, I mean, like I said, you can only do what you can do. 30 minutes, 3 days a week. I just think if you do it like that, those 30 minutes need to be real effective. I don't know what you do in those 30 minutes, but you would definitely have more trouble remembering things if it's spaced out like that. The Greek Romans didn't bother themselves with the languages of barbarian tribes. Yeah, it was a different time in history, though, bro. Canada, lots of people in Canada speak French, bro. Not just people in Quebec. England, I guarantee you, England has more bilingual people than the USA does, like percentage wise. And Australia, well, yeah, but Australia fucking sucks, bro. That shit's the ass crack of the world. There's nothing around them. Of course, they don't speak another language. They have no point. There's no point. That's really kind of what the problem is for America too. America's super vast, and most people never even leave their home state. So of course, they don't learn another language. They don't speak to anybody else. They would never come across people that don't speak English. English players don't do a good job learning Spanish when they play in the Spanish league, but they sure as hell do expect everyone to learn English when they play in the English Premier League. I mean, I don't know, man. I seen some of those guys learn some decent Spanish out there. I don't know their names, or I would tell you, but that shit always pops up on my TikTok because they'll be like, he's only been playing for Spain for 3 months and look at his Spanish. Sports are the best way to learn a language. The best way. There's a guy in the UFC. He's the champion right now. He just beat Alexander Volkanovski. Ilya Topuria. Man, his Spanish is so native-like. It's so good. People actually think he's a Spaniard. I record myself reading children's books on my phone, then I listen to the recording of myself while I'm at work over and over again. But every time I'm practicing, I'm recording myself. I think the recording yourself is good. Reading the books is good. Don't know if listening to yourself over and over again would be the best use of your time, though, because you would be better off listening to someone else that can speak way better. Yes, the British are better educated. My point in bringing up the ancient Greek and Romans is that since the USA is the dominant empire, and we're all told we're number one. I know. But when you bring up extra points, you always make it seem like you're going against the thing that was said when you're really agreeing with me. We grew up overlooking the rest of the world because of it. Yeah, but also, like I said, partially due to geography. I'm sure most Russians don't speak more than Russian. I know a lot of people in that area speak Russian and another European language, but the Russians themselves that never come in contact with anybody but Russians. Listening to myself helps me remember new words. I feel you. Like I said, I just think with the amount of time that you're studying, or I should say the amount of time that you're not studying, you might be better off listening to other people, native speakers, talking. Because like I said, the more you hear words, the more you encounter them, the better chance it has of staying in your brain. If you're listening to yourself over and over again, it's okay, but you're just hearing the same stuff over and over again. ¿Qué tomas? Agua, bro. Sprite? No. Does this look like Sprite? It's because it's got the gas. Have you spoken to Dre recently, though? I think it's been a couple of weeks. I guess no, I haven't spoken with him very recently. I should say to bolster your point in order to avoid confusion. listening to other people or podcasts doesn't really help me remember new words. I I mean, I can't tell you that it doesn't. I mean, I can't tell you that what you're saying isn't true, but like that is literally how we acquire language. The more you're exposed to, the more you take in. It's literally how your brain works. So, like I said, for instance, probably everyone in the world, like you don't even have to speak a lick of Spanish. Everybody knows hola because from when you were 1 years old to right now, you've heard 1,000 people say that shit in different contexts, and so you know, oh, okay, like when people say hola, that means hi in Spanish. It's not something that you have to study, um, and so that's what happens. You hear something in different contexts from different speakers, and you're like, okay, yeah, your brain makes the connection. You don't always have to actively do it. You just hear it so many times that you're like, this has to mean this. This is basically this. It's just like it's funny, man. Lots of lots of people that don't speak Spanish, they like halfway know Spanish cuss words. They'll be like, oh yeah, man, my coworker, he always be saying like bendejo or something. Bendejo, man, he that's got to be a cuss word, right? It's like you can figure it out from the context. You hear that shit so much that you're like, oh yeah, this has to be something bad. I got caught up in another part of the live when you were drinking from a glass. Oh, it's Alka-Seltzer, bro. Sparkling drink. Gotta make sure Dre is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna hit him up. I'll hit him up when I get off a live. But he was about to start, or he probably did start already, another a job teaching English in person. So I imagine he's probably just super busy at the moment. Because the last time I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, he was getting the last of his paperwork in order because he had to like man, he had to get like all this official stuff so that they could give him a work visa, and so he was on the last part of that. So I imagine he started working. I imagine. Good advice, thank you. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if you know who Mike is. You probably do, but Mike will probably tell you the same thing. What I like to do, and this is not even just for Spanish, this is for anything. I just like to look at people that, I like to look at the trend amongst people that have achieved whatever. You look at boxing champions, you look at people that became fluent in another language. Most of them, they'll tell the story of how they did it. And you can literally be like, bro, everyone's saying like this is the way to go. Like everyone that I know that that learns Spanish, and this goes for other languages too, but we're talking about Spanish. Everyone that I know, lots of input in the conversations. You gotta have conversations. You gotta put yourself in uncomfortable situations, but you gotta have lots of input. It's a lot of listening to native speakers. It's a lot of, and having a conversation is input too. Like, bro, even just last night, I probably learned like 10 different words in Spanish just from having conversations. And they'll be like, oh, you don't know what this is? This is this. I feel like they're just gonna criticize him for everything and anything since he had the highest contract in history. Who? What are we talking about here? Oh, the French media used to criticize the heck out of Neymar for not speaking French. The news anchors used to bring up players who learned French in a matter of months. Oh, okay. I see that you just uploaded a video. If you're still in here right now, it's just a lot of it's a lot of me being drunk and a lot of me recording people dancing. Learning Spanish is a lifelong journey, and I'm here for it. Absolutely. The problem is also that native speakers connect words together, so it is very. Oh, okay. It's very difficult to understand, but you're right. I need to train my ears to native speakers. Yeah, I mean that's just that's a part of language, right? So my physical therapist, she knows like a decent amount of English, and so whenever she hears me and my wife talk, she'll be like, "What did you guys just say?" And I tell her, and she'll be like, "That doesn't sound." She knows all the words, but she'll be like, "That doesn't sound like how I would say it, and it doesn't sound like the books that I read or whatever, or the other people that I hear say it." Which is why you have to listen to native speakers to be able to understand native speakers, because we're not gonna say, "Hey, what's up?" We're gonna say, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? How you doing?" We're not gonna say, "How are you doing?" Like, yeah, some people talk like that, but most people don't. Say, "Hey, how's it going, man? How's it going?" We don't say, "How is it going?" Like, that's some Duolingo shit. But in real life, uh, a lot of conversation is like very predictable, and so even if you say, you ever heard someone say something and you're like, "Huh?" And then right after you say, "Huh," it's kind of like you figured it out, and you're like, I don't know why I said, "Huh." I just didn't understand it at first, but now I do. That's that's because sometimes people just like blurt stuff out, and that's how native speakers talk, man. I'm so happy for Con. Hey, bro, Will is so funny, bro. That shit had me cracking up, bro. It's so funny because like you can hear the sentence structure that he did in Spanish, and he just like did a translation to English in his head. Have you heard of all the regional dialects of French? No. Speakers of those dialects languages are looked down upon by the snobs in Paris. No, haven't heard anything like that. I really don't know anything about French, man. He was word for word translating. Yeah, bro. The thing is, he can hold a conversation in English, but it's basically like what I just said. Like the stuff that he knows is from reading and like I don't know, just picking up the words by themselves and not in context from a native speaker. So sometimes he says stuff like that, or the pronunciation is so off that you don't know what the word is that he's saying at first, and you're just like, what? And then he'll say it in Spanish, and you're like, oh. Like last night he was saying, uh, I don't even remember how he was saying it, like calcing. He said, "Where's my calcing?" And I'm like, what? And he said, "Mi primo." I'm like, "Oh, your cousin." I'm like, why are you saying it like that, bro? Your Spanish is better than his English, I'm assuming. Oh yeah, definitely. He lived in Louisiana. Yeah, he was there for like 6 months. But all right, in comparison, I came here and I already spoke Spanish. When he went to Louisiana, he didn't speak any English. Like he always tells me, because he was in Baton Rouge too, bro. So he said he would always like be in the barber shop and stuff, and he just like couldn't answer any questions because he's like, I don't understand anything that they were saying. And so, and then the international English that they learn is always like some mad proper shit. And so he said they would make fun of him every time he talked, like in a loving way, not in like a bullying way. It's kind of how Spain has Catalan, Gallego. Oh yeah, man, I was listening to some people speak Gallego like last week. That shit's so weird, bro. It's like it almost sounds like Portuguese. Like it's right off of Spanish. Like It's just the language of the kingdom of Castile won the political battle, and that was and what was spread. I've met people from Gambia and with the Ivory Coast that speak fluent Spanish, but they what?
It's fine. Some days you rush. I can't imagine how bad that shit must stink. I want to be.
I wish Marruecos could have stayed Spanish. That way today they would speak Spanish. Why? Why does that matter? These African brothers can speak like 5 languages fluently. Yeah, there's lots of places in the world where people have 4 languages. I remember I watched a video where the dude was basically saying it's your birthright to speak 4 languages. Like anyone that doesn't think that they can't speak another language, like they're wrong, because there's these places where everyone speaks 4 languages. Like you basically have to, and that like if it wasn't like that, then people there wouldn't be able to survive. Michael, hello, bro. Or Michel.
And to enjoy this dubious pleasure.
I meant to say, but when they speak English, their pronunciation is off.
Did you kill her?
Well, not yet. I shot her full of rock salt. She's Joe right now. I could perform a coup de grace with a rock.
Shut up, back. Hold on a second, yeah. I'm back. That way they could be more Spanish speakers. Jalen, have you heard of the? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm gonna speak. Arabic people,
Sounds like we got a deal.
Berbers,
One condition. She must
don't know.
turn fast.
Hey, Bill, darling. I can promise that I'll guarantee.
I don't see them.
Yes, Berbers. What about them? I can't tell you anything about them. It just I kind of recognized it, but don't know. Just like people who have lived in the United States still have a foreign accent when they speak English. It depends. Depends. Some people don't. Man, I've met some people that you wouldn't even know that they were speaking in a second language because their accent sounds so natural. Normally they can't do that in a third or fourth language, but the second one they can. But again, most of the time that comes from comes from having a good ear for it and speaking to a lot of native speakers. Some people just don't care. Some people don't care that they have an accent, so they don't try to correct it. But it is something that you can get rid of, for sure. Most people just give up. Just like people that are learning Spanish, a lot of times they just say, "Oh, I can't roll my R's," so they just refuse to do it, or they don't try to pronounce the vowels right. Like they say A's in English. Is that the same for Spanish? The foreign accent? Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like most Americans just they just accept that they're gonna sound like that. Um, but it's definitely something that you can get rid of. Now, will people still be able to tell that you're from America? Probably. There's only like really, I've only heard like 3 people ever where their Spanish was just so good that I was just like, I don't know. This girl that Mike had on his channel, I would have thought she was from Colombia if I just heard her talk. Her Spanish was crazy. Um, but outside of that, I mean, they probably would just be able to say that they know you're not from where they're from, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have an accent. You just don't have the same accent as them, so that's totally different. Like it's one thing. Let me think of something. Like we got a bunch of accents in English, right? So the way like most people say there, where I'm from in the South, we say there. But that's different than someone saying maybe like if they can't pronounce the th and they say tear. Like, oh, I want to go over tear. I'll be like, yeah, it's not your first language. That's not even an accent so much as it is like a mispronunciation, if that makes sense. Uh, so little things like that, or like people that are in the beginning stages of learning Spanish. Sometimes they pronounce H's, so they say hola, and I can't think of another word, but whatever. They see a H and they say a H instead of leaving it silent. But the biggest problem is that they just pronounce vowels too long. The vowels are not long in Spanish, they are in English. So we say hello. It's a long oh, hello. We don't say hello.
Wakey, wakey. Eggs and bacon.
Yeah, I love the Spanish subtitles because that shit. There's no way to translate certain things. Like he just said wakey wakey eggs and bakey, and it said despierta despierta. But like, what else can you put? Rolando says, "Give me a second." Yo, the coffin scene in Kill Bill, crazy. If I ever, nah, I'm not even about to speak that shit into existence. But just the fact that people get buried alive is just insane, bro.
See the cutest little blonde pussy you ever saw. Is she the cutest little blonde pussy you ever saw? I've seen better. You know what I'm gonna say?
Damn, Rolando must be doing a deep dive on this topic. Bro, you better be coming up with some good facts if you're taking this on. Jesus Christ.
It's my decision.
This is what my 23andMe results say. Rolando E183. Have you mastered connecting words that end in a vowel and begin in a vowel in a sentence in Spanish as you speak to native speakers? End in a vowel and begin in a vowel. I don't. You have to give me an example, but I just, like I said, I just listen and mimic, bro. Listen and mimic. I just talk like they talk. I don't have to. I don't ever do like very specific stuff like that. Like I said, if you the more conversations that you have with native speakers and the more you listen to them, if you're like intently listening, actively listening, like you would hear stuff like that. Like, but I wouldn't. You have to give me an example of what you're talking about. You share a paternal line ancestor with men who migrated to Spain more than 1,300 years ago. One possibility is that Berber troops belonging to oh my god, are migrating during the Islamic expansion into the Iberian Peninsula. A second possibility is that North African people were migrating into the Iberian Peninsula before the founding of Islam, perhaps driven by Roman and Phoenician commerce that involved Northwest Africa and Iberia. Very interesting. My ancestry just says mad Nigeria, mad French, Creole, Cajun blood. We think to ourselves in our native language. Do you think to yourself in Spanish? It just depends. It depends on what's happening. The situation that I'm in. I definitely think more in English just because I lived and continue to live my life in English. So I mean, I've been speaking English for 32 years versus what, 4 in Spanish, 5, 4, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if I'm having a conversation in Spanish, then I think in Spanish. Or certain things that I may have learned in Spanish that I didn't know in English, that thing pops into my head in Spanish. But like when I look at this, like botella is not the word that pops in my head. Bottle is. If I was having a conversation in Spanish, then I would say that. But maybe something else that I had never known in English. I don't know if I have anything. I don't think I have anything here in front of me. But there's a lot of things that I've learned in Spanish that I probably still don't know how to say in English because I don't need to. So stuff like that. If it's a topic or a word that I learned in Spanish before I learned in English, then those thoughts will probably be in Spanish. I looked up haplogroup EM183 and Berbers. Like them as they came out, them as they don't even look African. They kind of look like a blend of Caucasian and Arab. I'll have to look at them again. We have thousands of thoughts a day. Is Spanish rooted in your subconscious? Yeah. But like I said, definitely more of those thoughts are in English. But a decent amount are in Spanish. But like I said, just depends. Depends on the topic. Sometimes I think to myself in English. Sometimes I think to myself in Spanish. In the beginning, I used to do it on purpose. Um, that's what I was gonna tell you before when you said you only studied for 30 minutes a day. I was thinking maybe that's all the time that you have to intently study, but you can practice at any time in the day. So what I used to do in the beginning was I would basically anytime I said something in English, I would say, "Do I know how to say that in Spanish, or can I try?" So I was having a conversation with someone. Every time I said something, like right after in my head, I'd be like, "Hmm, how would I say that? Oh, okay, si hubiera hecho. Oh, okay, I know how to say it." So I would do that. Um, and when they would talk, I would be like basically like translating in my head, like, all right, well, if this person said this, what would they say if it was in Spanish? So I would be doing that like all day on purpose. Now it's not an on purpose thing. Just sometimes I think to myself in Spanish, sometimes I don't. Depends. But when I think about it, it's really weird because your your thoughts almost have no language. Like they can, obviously, like you can intently think of words and stuff, but like concepts, objects, like right now, if I think of a bottle in my head, I just see a picture of a bottle, right? And so it's in neither language. It's just a concept in my head. So I don't know. It's weird. I have to really sit down and observe my thoughts for a whole day to probably tell you how much is happening in English and Spanish. I'll do that also. Also first write it down to see if it makes sense. Yeah, that's good, man. Like I said, um, besides basically translating everything that I would say, I would always describe my day, all the things around me, like just to make sure that I could. Like, to me, that's what I always tell people. I always tell people if you can't describe everything that you did today, that's what you should be working on. Like, there's no wrong way to study a language, right? But let's just say you're probably learning a language so that you can communicate with people. The things that you're probably going to talk about are things that happen in your daily life. People are probably going to ask you, what did you eat? What time did you wake up? Of course, when you first meet someone, they're probably going to ask you stuff about how you learn Spanish. You get used to having that conversation. But after that, once you know somebody, most of the time they're asking you questions about your life. And so, like I said, there's nothing wrong with learning like crazy expansive vocabulary, but people will know like these super high level vocabulary words and they have trouble literally just saying like, oh, yesterday I went to the store and bought this. Like that should be something super automatic. You should be doing the high level stuff later, in my opinion. It's just like a little kid. A little kid, the first thing you learn is like, I want this, I want this. Give me this, give me this. I like this, I don't like this. Then little kids start saying like, I went to do this, or I want to go do this, I want to go to Disneyland. You start expanding your concept of time, basically. Like, oh, okay, like, I don't have to just talk about right now. I can talk about places that I've been, places that I want to go. And as that stuff becomes super automatic, they start filling in those gaps using connecting words and higher level vocabulary and stuff. From what I researched, Amazigh have a tough time fitting in North African countries like Morocco because they speak their own language. Yeah, that would make sense. Yes, but when you're at the gym or talking to a mechanic or when you need something from a hardware store, those are random words that is not everyday conversations. Yeah, but I would compare that to English. I don't know what I'm talking about at the mechanic in English. So, as a matter of fact, if you ever want to, you can look. I have a video. I think it was like 1.5 years speaking Spanish or something like that. I had to have a conversation in Spanish with a mechanic. And like, yeah, that's what happened. Like I was able to conduct business, but I'm like, I don't fucking know how to say, but I don't know how to say the parts in English. Besides the engine, the tires, and the dipstick, like I know how to change my own oil. But outside of that, I literally don't know anything about cars, bro. So, you know, when you ask me certain questions, I'll be like, what's that? Like, but it's not, it's whatever. I'm not gonna go um, study automotives books because that's not a conversation that I have often in English or Spanish. So, like I said, that's not something you're doing on a daily. And I would say the same thing probably in a hardware store or anything like that. Like, if I need a specific thing in the store, I would then look up the word or the thing. Like if I need like a certain wrench or something, I don't just go up in there and just talk all willy nilly in English and hope that they know what I'm talking about. I usually be like, I'm looking for this specific wrench called this or this specific whatever. Um, but like I said, am I gonna study toolkits? Probably not. 'Cause that's not something I talk about on a daily basis. And I guess as far as the gym goes, I guess it just depends on your life. I'm in the gym all the time. I'm a trainer, so for me, that vocabulary is super important. Thank you for all the great tips. I have to go to bed so I can wake up early tomorrow. Salute. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for talking. Always happy to help. Moroccan government has tried outlawing Berber Bedouin languages. It's fucked up, man. I love when he does this. Sadly. hungry. Let's see, 11:09. I've been on for 109 minutes. I'll push it out to 120 because that'll be 2 hours on the dot. It's about 10 more minutes. I learned better. That's funny. No comments. Your maternal haplogroup is C1, whatever that means. I need a description of what C1 is for a haplogroup, bro. Traces back to a woman who lived approximately 18,500 years ago. They about to break that shit. Oh, why did the TV cut off? I wonder if the Wi-Fi broke. Most common among the isolated people of the frozen Siberian tundra and in Central Asia all the way across to the, don't know if that's Ural or Ural mountains. Seven more minutes, y'all. 7 more minutes. Of all the unrealistic movies, Kill Bill's the best. Yeah, that's Will's brother. Bro, he's so funny, bro. He's the reason that I drank so much, bro. This time and the last time I saw him, bro. Like, literally, instantly, I pull up. Like, I'm telling you, bro, the moment I sat down, he's just like, don't eat it. Don't eat it. I'm like, bro, I didn't even eat nothing yet, bro. And it's funny, because I drank that shit. And then I was like, all right, your turn. And he was like, John, don't beat you. I was just like, bro, you just set me up. You're not even drinking it. That shit is strong, bro. How old is he? I don't know, actually. He gotta be about 40. He trying to move to the States. Huh? He's younger than Will? Axel said he's 33. He look older. Maybe it's because he has a beard. He got a beard and a bald head, so he look older than Will. Dude could be 28 all the way to 45. Yeah. It makes sense that he's 33. I was gonna say he's got like a youthful face, but at the same time he looks old. I think it's the beard and bald head combo. Genetics are so weird too, cause Will has a full head of hair and he can't grow a beard. And then that dude got facial hair and no hair on his head. Hello, my name is Mia. What's up, Mia? Mia Cordova. Where are you from, Mia? Yeah, Mike. It's like there's a correlation, but it's not necessarily like 100% that way. There's some people that are like what I'll call lucky as far as genetics go, but in general, it's like that. People that have a lot of body and facial hair won't have as much hair on their heads, but like I said, some cultures, some people, they just get lucky. And also, it's like it's a byproduct of testosterone. It's called DHT. I can't remember what that stands for at the moment. Like dihydrogen testosterone or some shit like that. I don't know. DHT. Anyways, that's what like Rogaine and products like that are. They basically stop the conversion into DHT. So like you put that shit in your head and it stops. It stops your body from producing that DHT, and then your hair has a chance to either grow back or at least stop falling. That's why even if you get a hair transplant, like those dudes that go to Turkey, you have to also take medication, because if not, then with time, you'll just lose hair in the exact same spots. 50.6% European. Only 36% indigenous. Wow, Rolando. I be telling Axa she should do this shit so we can see how much Spaniard she is. Cause I don't really know what Rolando looks like, so I don't know. But I actually think she's gonna be like 100% indigenous or some shit. I'm like, bro, that shit about to say 95% Spain. That shit might not even say indigenous on there. But back to genetics. Mike, you wanna know some other crazy shit about genetics, bro? I gotta be careful with how I say this. But there's some people that are just, we're gonna say, objectively musty, right? Like, it's just true. There's also people that are not musty. Like a lot of Americans, you could probably Google it and see. They're always like, I can't find the deodorant when they're stationed in Korea and shit. They're like, I'm in the store. Where is the deodorant at, bro? Half the time, Koreans don't sell deodorant because they don't have like a lot of Eastern. I think Chinese, Korean, and Japanese people. I don't know about anybody else. They don't have some gland genetically. They just don't produce a musty smell in their armpits. So like even when they sweat and stuff, so they don't need deodorant. Scientifically backed, yes, bro. I was bummed out that I'm not Jewish. You thought you was about to get some money, huh? But yeah, so it's bacteria in your armpit that makes you musty. But it's like the bacteria, I don't remember. You have to look it up. But yeah, genetically, Asians just don't produce the shit that the bacteria want or something like that. I don't know. But they really don't have to put on deodorant. I'm sure there's probably some outliers, but in general, though. And there's some other cultures where it might be the opposite. A lot of times people are like, no, it's the food that they eat. But I'm like, bruh, I be eating onions and shit like that. I don't smell like onions, bro. I'm messing my outliers for sure. Yeah, it ain't gonna be many of them. And then there's a difference too. There's a difference between like smelling bad because you haven't showered and shit versus that very specific underarm mustiness. I'm pretty sure they just have lower body odor in general, but yeah, underarm must is a specific smell. That should be smelling like Whataburger. 23andMe has also found my cousins, so I know it's fairly accurate. Not saying that it isn't accurate, but it wouldn't be hard to find your cousins because y'all would have similar DNA. But they could be wrong about everything in the past, if that makes sense. They could be like, oh yeah, we found your fifth and sixth cousin. And then it could be that they're wrong about both of y'all's ancestry going back. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm sure they know what they're doing. I use Ancestry.com. And it was, they found a lot of my cousins, and there was something that happened. I can't remember. Something that was actually pretty impressive. We found something out. I can't remember at this point. But if you haven't seen this documentary, people have found out their mom cheated on their dad using 23andMe. Oh yeah, I've seen that a lot. But there's a documentary of this dude who's like the father of artificial artificial insemination, and so he was like the first guy to like really do that stuff. And so 23andMe gets invented, and these people start taking these tests, and it's like, you have 19 brothers, you have 40 brothers, you have 81 brothers. Come to find out, this dude will be putting his own sperm inside of the women. Like the dads would give their sperm sample, he would throw that shit away. Then he would go jerk off and put his own sperm in a vial and bring it as if it was the dad's. And yeah, all of these people found this out because of 23andMe. And the worst part was like some of these dudes, it was their only kid, and they were like fucking 80 years old, and it's like, damn, like you have no DNA connection to this child, and you ain't about to make another kid. Like that's just tough, bro. That's tough. Your legacy, bro. My sister's neighbor found out, or my sister's neighbors found her sister who was separated at birth. Oh, that's cool. That's dope. Imagine asking for a black baby and having some white scientist child instead. Bro, you know what was worse? What was worse is that he was like some kind of fucking Nazi, bro, that was like trying to spread the fucking white race. But what was crazier was that he had like mad problems, like physical problems, and like all of those kids are pretty much diseased. Like they have autoimmune diseases and shit like that because he had it. So he was pretty much all around a terrible person. And he didn't get in trouble because there was no laws. There's no laws against doing that. So they had to make laws because of him. They tried to take him to trial and they're like it's like some form of rape basically, but they're like, yeah, no, it's not though. Like you came in here to get inseminated and you did. He just didn't tell you whose sperm it was. So they tried. I think they ended up getting him with a fraud case, and then the judge didn't even send him to jail because he was so old. So I mean, basically, he got away with it. He got away with it. It's yours. It's just light skin. Nah, this was like some fucking. This is like some hillbilly town in West Virginia or some shit, bro. I can't remember where it takes place, but it's a small town. And what's crazy is there's so many of them. There's literally hundreds of these kids, and they grew up with each other. So some of them dated, and you know, not knowing that they were half siblings because no one knew. There was no way for them to know. Not only that, some of them went uh, to him for like gynecology stuff, and then it would end up being his kid, which is super weird. Did they have kids together? I don't know that any of them did. I think they wouldn't want to tell if they did, if that makes sense. Because everyone on the show would just be like, yeah, you know, you find out someone you dated is your sister. Like, you know, you're kind of like, ugh. But then it's like, okay, it's over. But if you would admit that you had a kid with one of those people, people would be like, ew, that kid is like hella ancestral. And so, I don't know, they might be trying to save their kid's reputation or something. It's a hell of a thing to find out, man. Hell of a thing. You guys got me again. I was supposed to get off. Let's see. How much longer should I stay on Rolando since I already passed my original deadline? I'm thinking it's 11:30. Last time I got off at 11:45, so I'll do 11:45 again. But I gotta make sure I actually get off at 11:45. I can't stay on here all night. Man, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry.
Me da gusto ver que está mejor.
Este es el trato enfermera, Betty. No le haré nada si usted acepta ir conmigo.
But yeah, Rolando, you should watch it. I think it was called Our Father. Something like that. Our Father. The Father? No, Our Father. I think it's called Our Father. I liked it. It's cool.
To give it to you, bud. That's a pretty fucked up way to die. What's the name of the grave she's buried under?
Schultz.
Can I look at the sword?
That's my money right there in that bag, isn't it?
It sure is.
Well, then, it's your sword now.
What about that medieval sounding song I sent you? I don't know. I don't remember. I have to listen again. I don't remember or at least not by the name.
If you're gonna compare Hanzo's sword, you compare it to every other sword ever made. Was it made by a Torian? Wrap your lips around that.
I think the guy, Felipe,
Which are you?
Immortal Technique found that song. Or he just got the beat by someone. You never know.
Number one killer of old people is retirement. People got a job to do. They tend to live a little bit longer so they can do it.
You never know. You would have to ask. You'd have to literally ask him, because sometimes producers are the one that do all of that. But then sometimes, like an artist like him, I could see him being like, "Yo, I'm about to make a song, and I want you to sample this because it's gonna go perfect with this, and the theme actually relates to that in a way. So could be.
Regret. A little bit of both. More shit. I'm sure you do feel a little bit of both. But I don't damn know when you feel one, or when you feel the other. The question was, which one is it? Regret. You know, you gotta hand it to your girl. I never saw anybody Buffalo Bill the way she Buffalo Bill. Bill thought she was so damn smart, and I tried to tell him. She was just smart for a blonde.
Maybe just how you used to get your beats from Russians, he gets his beats from other dudes. It's, yeah, possible. That Russian used to give me beats, but I used to also have people that I would tell like, hey, I want a beat that sounds like this.
I'm sorry, bud. That was rude of me, wasn't it? But I'd like to introduce my friend, the Black Mamba. Black Mamba? This is Bud.
Black Mamba.
I look for a lot. I looked him up on the internet. Fascinating creature, the Black Mamba. Yes. In Africa, the saying goes, in the bush, an elephant can kill you, a leopard can kill you, and a black mamba can kill you. But only what the mamba, this has been true in Africa since the dawn of time, is death sure. Hence its handle, death incarnate.
I didn't know what incarnate meant until right now.
Poisons, acting on the nervous system, causing paralysis. The venom of a black mamba can kill a human being in 4 hours, it's say, bitten on the ankle or the thumb. However, a bite to the face or torso can bring death from paralysis within 20 minutes. Now you should listen to this, because this comes from tea. The amount of venom that can be delivered from a single bite can be gargantuan. Now, I've always liked that word gargantuan. So rarely have an opportunity to use it in a sentence.
In the flesh, yes.
10 to 15 milligrams can be fatal to human beings.
What's funny is I always heard people say those two things back to back, so I kind of, I mean, I knew what it meant, I just didn't know that it was exactly in the flesh.
These last agonizing minutes.
But the Spanish subtitle, when she said incarnate, said incarnate viva.
Best earlier, more thoroughly. Right at this moment, the biggest horror I feel is regret. Regret that maybe the greatest warrior I have ever met her end at the hands of a bushwhacking, scrub, elky piece of shit like you. That woman deserved better.
I don't know. I wonder why they didn't put that word then when they put the translation. That's pretty weird. Let me type it into my translator and see what it says. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they decided to go with that translation.
And you take those flowers to Huntington Cemetery. Look for the headstone.
Unless she actually said it in the flesh after she said it too. It's very possible that she did. Maybe that was just a direct translation for in the flesh.
Marty Control, sir? Here. Melanie Harthouse? Here. Beatrix Kiddo? Here.
Alright, 4 minutes. I'm getting off at 11:45 for real. For real, for real. What's up? Is there any noodles or no? Some. Four more minutes.
You got these ones, some of them.
Oh yeah. But I'm hungry.
What? They sound kind of good. Go through them.
Alright.
Yes. I actually see them.
Pretty good.
The plantain. Wow.
Huh?
The plantain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, send it, bro. Quan. Hi.
Awesome.
I must really do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. No pork. No pork on my fork. No pork on me fork. Yeah, bro. He has been cooking him. I think I told you before. I don't even listen to Kendrick. And I'm like, damn, he cooking Drake, bro. Like that last one, Not Like Us. I'm like, damn, he even made a catchy one too, bro. Bro said, fuck the slam poetry shit. I'm really about to cook this dude. I feel like Drake is mostly liked by females. Drake dropped another one tonight. Yeah, I heard it. It wasn't really, it was like, it kind of sounded like he was giving up. that grew up around dislike Drake because he really ain't hood, but he sells himself like that. I mean, oh fuck. I just cut myself with a chip. I don't really think he sells himself as hood. I think some of the dudes he hangs around are hood, which is true. But I'm not sure that he really sells himself as that. He mainly just talks shit about how much money he has. I mean, he grew up acting. We watched him. We watched him on TV as a kid. Oh yeah, Sauce Walker hates him, bro. To this day, I still think Sauce Walker made the best diss against Drake. Whack to Whack, that shit is a classic to me. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Splash Town didn't survive the lockdown. That's true. It's now a car dealership. Sauce Walker is a weird dude, man. He's like a pimp and a porn star. I've seen some clips I ain't want to see, bro. At all. Darius, you think Drake's gonna drop something else? I would hate to have a convo with Sauce Walker. He just yells sentences. That's true. I remember when he fought this one dude at the mall. That shit was hilarious. Yeah, I kind of got that feeling that it was a white flag too, man. But I don't know. I could see him fake waving the white flag so that Kendrick drops another one, kind of like talking shit, like, yeah, I made him quit. And then Drake really be like, see, I ain't want to have to do this, but he made me. And then he drops a real bombshell. I haven't heard Schlitterbahn in I don't know how long, bro. I forgot that shit existed. Is Schlitterbahn only in Texas? Is that only a Texas thing? Sometimes I don't be knowing if stuff's only in Texas or not. I remember when I found out HEB was only in Texas, I fell down to my knees like, no.
¿Qué estás pensando?
Muchas cosas.
After Meet the Grams, yeah, no, facts.
Triste.
Nah, he really been cooking Drake, bro.
Este aeropuerto es el único en el que he estado sin
The only thing he fucked up on was
personas deben seguir su
the 11-year-old daughter thing. Like, if you can't prove that, now I'm like, man, how much other stuff were you just making up?
que siga su camino.
Tony solo lo dijo y ya. No hubo esa conversación de soy solo para ti. Sí. Bueno, ¿qué te parece esta falda entallada acentúa curvas?
Oh shit, I'm on 1%.
Mira, es
No,
exacto.
I'm tripping. My shit's probably gonna die before I even get to plug it in. No, hold on, don't die. Whew. It's a close call. Galvin said water like sewage water. That's actually facts. Dead ass. Galveston got clear water for a day. That would have scared me. I'd have been, I don't trust this. Galveston water is disgusting. You probably get superpowers swimming up in there though. Right, I missed 11:45. What am I doing? I'm actually not staying on here past midnight, I swear to God. I promise you, bro. At midnight, I'm hitting end. I don't even care if I'm in the middle of a sentence or if you're in the middle of a sentence, I'm done, bro. Like, I've been on for so long that Kill Bill Volume 2 is almost over. I started this when Kill Bill 1 was on. Ooh, what song is this? Ooh, I gotta look this up. Sounds like flamenco.
Like most men who never knew their father,
Yeah, people got work in there. Not me.
the first was Esteban Tejeda. Esteban was a pimp and a friend of Bill's mother. He ran a brothel in Acuna, Mexico for over 50 years. His army, the Acuna Boys, made up of the fatherless offspring of his whores, ran Acuna. He ran the Acuna Boys. Now at the age of 80, it would be this retired gentleman of legend who could
Yo, when it's 11:59, somebody put in the chat, yo, it's 11:59, get the fuck off.
Señor Esteban Tejeda. May I join you? May I join you, Esteban? Yes. I speak a little Spanish if you prefer. It's my pleasure to
Salute.
such a fine gentleman as yourself.
Have a good night. Have a good day at work tomorrow, brother. Rolando, don't let me stay on past midnight, bro. Favorite Houston rapper? Hmm, that's tough. I like Peso Peso. I don't know if he's my favorite. I don't know. I don't know. That Mexican OT is good. You know who I actually liked? It's kind of almost embarrassing to say. There's a rapper named Güero 10K. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's gonna be getting a capital murder case. 'Cause they were like really killing people. He's like 18 years old, bro. But I really like the way he rapped though. NY probably has the most rappers, most popular ones. I don't know if they have the most. They do have a lot though. I just feel like there's just a lot of them. There's a lot of rappers everywhere. What rapper? Güero 10K. Guero 10K. If you type that in, it'll pop up. I think it's 10K. It's something K. What songs do I like by him? I can't remember the names of the songs, bro. I actually would like it when he would do freestyles, to be honest. If you type in a diss, he dissed somebody right before he got locked up for all the murders he did, and that was actually a pretty good diss. It's 11:59. As soon as it hits midnight, I'm hitting end. So I imagine that's gonna be any second now. I can't miss it. I'm not staying on past midnight. I'm gonna put my finger up because I know that it's about to be midnight. But peace. Thanks for talking, Rolando, and I will see you next time. Send me whatever you said you were gonna send me. Damn, this is the longest minute. Oh, here we go. All right, peace.